Konnichiwa everybody, and welcome back to another episode. Now, it's a bit of a random topic today. I've been thinking lately, well, this past few days anyway. I don't know what got me thinking on it, but I just started thinking about music in games. And, you know, what I thought was my sort of favourite music ever in games, and, you know, maybe some iconic music that have, you know, made games more appealing than perhaps they would have been without the music. So I just thought I'd have a think and try and come up with a bunch of my favourite ever games based on the music that accompanied the game when you were playing. So I've got 10 here, spanning, you know, many years and generations. It's not like a top 10 or anything. It's just 10 games that I feel were made better by the music. And it just sort of got me thinking the whole subject of can a game be made better by the music? And would you perhaps play a game more because of the music than you would if it hadn't got it? And I sort of came to the conclusion that it played a big part for me. And it was almost half the experience, you know, taking all that music in while you were playing the games. And it sort of elevated the whole experience of playing the actual game to a different level solely because of the music. I'm not so sure I've had that sort of feeling in modern times with modern games. I don't know, the music seems less relevant. Somehow I don't know, I suppose they're more of an all-encompassing soundtrack and, you know, sound effects and, you know, it's all amazing, but I don't know. I haven't sort of felt that there's like iconic music with games anymore. You know, as a soundtrack to the gameplay. Maybe that's because, you know, I need more time to sort of develop the nostalgia and reminisce for such things. I don't know. What do you think? A modern game music, you know, is it as good as it once was? But anyway, enough waffling. The first one that really stands out to me, and it goes right back to the start really. I know it's not a game some people love, some people hate it, I know. But I love Treasure Island Dizzy. And this was the version I had to start with, the Spectrum. But it really came of age when I got the Amiga version. I just think the music on this game, I absolutely love it. I could just sit there and listen to the music and not even play the game. It's just, I don't know, there's such a hook to it. You know, I get it in my head and it, you know, it turns over and over. Even after I've switched it off, I can still hear it in my head. And that can be a bad thing at times, obviously, but for me, I just think the music on Treasure Island Dizzy, the Amiga version, is just stunning. And I don't know, there's some kind of, it creates an excitement to play the game, I think. Even just thinking about it now, I'm thinking, oh yes, as soon as I've done this video, I'm going to play Treasure Island Dizzy. Iconic. Then another one, well, all these are iconic to be fair, so I'm going to stop saying iconic. Another one that really stands out is Bubble Bobble. Now I'm just showing this because I can't find another physical Bubble Bobble I've got except this Master System card. I've got it on the Xbox Taito collection thing, which is where I'll probably play it now. But recently played this for the Master System Challenge, and honestly, the music on this is absolutely brilliant. I'm sure everybody's played Bubble Bobble, but you know, it's a great game in its own right. But the music is just stunning for me. It really adds to the experience, and again, it's one of them that it gets in your head, and you know, you can hear it in your mind even after you've stopped playing it. It's just fantastic. And then arguably my favourite game on the Master System, and I think a lot of this stems from how much I like the music, and we've got Wonder Boy. I mean, a great game, and obviously there are other versions of Wonder Boy. Some of you might think the other versions are better, but fair enough, they might well be. But I've always preferred this one. You know, your basic platformer without the adventure element. But on top of that, the music in this game is absolutely stunning for me. I can understand some people might think it's annoying and, you know, does your head in after a while, but I've never felt that. And again, for the recent Master System Challenge, I hadn't played this in years. And oh, the memories come flooding back. As soon as you hear that music, you just want to keep playing it. Well, I do anyway. Again, even on the Master System, the music is stunning. Sensational. Moving forward a bit then, another game with absolutely iconic sound for me, and it might be one less people have played, possibly. And we've got Lotus Turbo Challenge on the Amiga. This is the budget label one, obviously. I haven't got the big box version, unfortunately. Now, this is one of my favourite games of all time, period. But a huge part of it, again, is the music. There's a choice, you know, when it's similar to Outrun. You can choose your music when you start the game on your car stereo. But I always picked, I'm sure it was number 4. I'm sure it's 4. Can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But just absolutely love it. And again, it makes you want to play the game over and over again just to hear the music. You know, I'd love to have a soundtrack CD of this, but as far as I know, there's not one available. I've got the CD32 version of Lotus, the trilogy, and unfortunately, for some unknown reason, they changed all the music, and it's complete shite compared with the original on the Amiga. So, if you've got an Amiga, I mean, this is a fantastic arcade racer in its own right. Far better than 2 and 3 in my opinion, but regardless of that, the music in this, sensational. Then one game that I'm sure most people on the planet who've played on a video game have played, and Super Mario Bros. I mean, surely some of the most iconic music ever, you know, and one of the most iconic games and game characters ever. But the music on this original version, for me, again, it's just, it fits the game perfectly somehow. It's genius that, you know, the composers of it at the time. I mean, you can look back with hindsight, but you think now, God, that game is, the music matches the game, and it's such a perfect combination. A great game, a great soundtrack. It's just, I don't know, it works perfectly in perfect harmony for me. I could say that about all these, to be fair. Iconic, and they match the game, because they do really. Another stunner for me. And now we've got A Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo. I put the GameCube one on in kind of homage, which itself has, you know, got some lovely tunes. But this, I don't know, this kind of transcends time, really. It still sounds amazing today, the music on Link to the Past. It's like, it's Zelda, isn't it? You hear that music and you think, that's Link's theme. And it's just still, like, these 30 years later, I know the original NES one was before this, but I never actually played that at the time. And this wasn't my kind of bag, this kind of game. But I did play this back in the day on the Super Nintendo. And again, the music captivated me and possibly, helped me persist with it and play it as much as I did. Because again, it's just fantastic. And again, you can hear it today, and even if they put it in like a more modern game, you still hear the elements of these original NES and Super NES soundtracks for me. It's just, it's like the James Bond theme, isn't it? That's Link's theme, and it's forever. And it forever will be, and it stems back to these early games for me. It's just stunning. Then on a kind of different note, sticking with the Super Nintendo, we've got another sort of game with an incredible soundtrack, but this is more like it fits the game rather than it being composed for the game. And I'm talking about Rock and Roll Racing. Now again, this is a stunning sort of isometric racer, arcade racer, much like sort of RC Pro-Am on the NES, but set in a more futuristic, destructive world. But I'm sure you've played it. But it's got the rock and roll soundtrack, featuring sort of actual music by proper rock bands at the time. It tells you on the front actually. Paranoid by Black Sabbath and Born to be Wild by Steppenwolf, which I'm sure you've probably heard, the actual records for. But it fits the game perfectly, and it sounds amazing on the Super Nintendo. I recently tried the Mega Drive version, and it pales in comparison to the SNES. This game on the SNES with that soundtrack, absolutely stunning. And on the Game Boy Advance, to be fair, that I've played through that a couple of years ago. Fantastic, absolutely brilliant. Rock and Roll Racing. Then again, this one is more sort of atmospheric and a perfect partner for the game you're playing. And I'm talking about Tempest 2000 on the Jaguar. Now obviously this might not be such a popularly played game being on the Jaguar. Obviously you can get it on the Saturn and the PlayStation. But I've always preferred this version. One of my favourite games of all time. Absolutely stunning game. I'm sure you know what Tempest is. Obviously this is just a modernised version at the time. Whenever it came out, 97 or something, 94, sorry. But yeah, it's got like a techno soundtrack, and this just begs to turn the lights off, crank the stereo up, volume on as loud as you can take it, bugger the neighbours, play Tempest, and just lose yourself in that techno soundtrack. It's just absolutely stunning. Words can't describe how good this is. It's obviously it's not virtual reality, but once you're there and you're playing it and that music's up loud, it kind of feels that's all you can see and experience. It's amazing. If you like, well, if you've played Tempest, honestly, I really encourage you. You've got to play Tempest 2000, even if you emulate it or get the Saturn or PlayStation version. It's a stunning game, and the music suits it perfectly. I even bought the separate soundtrack CD for this. And while it's good, it doesn't have the same effect as it does when you're playing the game. But it's great to have all the same. Honestly, that's a stunning experience, made more so by the music for me. Then, I'm sure everybody's expecting me to mention this, who knows me and the channel, and so I'm not going to let you down. Outrun. For me, the greatest game ever made, with the greatest music ever written for a game. It's everything about it's perfect. It fits the game perfectly. I could listen to the soundtrack CD without, playing the game, and it's still just as awesome. Magical Sound Shower and Splash Wave. You can keep Passing Breeze. I'm not bothered about that. Magical Sound Shower and Splash Wave, the two greatest music tracks ever written for a game, bar none for me. Still amazing to this day. Even Sega themselves couldn't better it in Outrun 2. They made Magical Sound Shower far worse in my opinion, giving it like a Latino theme. Didn't like that. It's Splash Wave only on the Outrun 2 for me. These original tracks, stunning. Words can't describe how good, an experience it makes the game. I can, it takes me right back to playing the arcade cabinet on holiday, and the speakers coming out the cab, cranked up, loud, probably annoying everybody. But what an experience, and what music. Outrun. I'm lost for words. Then the last one I'm going to mention is possibly the best. It's arguably the best game music, disregarding what I've just said. It's arguably the best in-game music ever. And also possibly the greatest fitting game ever for this console in particular. It's an absolute joy to play. It fits the medium perfectly. It's the perfect game on the perfect system with the perfect soundtrack. And I'm talking about Tetris on the original DMG Game Boy. I can remember buying this from Toys R Us when I was a kid, coming back home in the car. Straight away they gave you the batteries, install the batteries, put Tetris in, included the headphones, put it on, turn the game on, and there you are playing Tetris with the, I think it was the first tune A I always used to pick. That classic Tetris Russian style music. It was just perfect, and it still is today. It's the greatest game on the Game Boy for me, and always will be. And surely the greatest ever packing game. Because, frankly, if you'd got that, you didn't really need anything else. Everything was in this box that you needed. And every version of Tetris I've played since, it's just not as good, because the music on this, it's just perfection for me. Absolutely stunning. They absolutely nailed it 100% when they did this for me. Amazing. But they're just 10. And 10 that I've experienced. I'm sure there are like, hundreds more that you've experienced that I've never even played maybe. Because it's all about the experience, isn't it? There's no right and wrong answers here. Just because I've not played something and seen or heard this amazing music, you may have done. So tell me, what other games have you played where you feel that the music makes a massive difference to the experience? It'd be great to hear your thoughts of what game music has inspired you to play games more, or just what's ticked your boxes and made you think, yes, this is sensational. It'd be great to hear what these games are in your past, what you hold in high regard now, solely because of the music, or partly because of the music. If you want to do a VR, please, feel free. If you don't, just let me know in the comments what floats your boat, shall we say. But yeah, we'll leave it there. Just something that I've been thinking about in the past few days, and thought, why not make a video and see what other people thought and what their kind of experiences have been really. But we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
Sayonara.